And I'm recording right damn now.
You got audio and video?
I got audio and video. You got audio and video?
You kidding me? I need some kind of award for technological breakthrough. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing so good it's stupid.
I like that song Come and Take It so much that when Linda sent it to me, I was doing a video about my 4570 lever gun project I got. And I played
No
that on
problem.
YouTube and huh,
I have a 4570 lever gun. I have a 4570 BFR revolver. My guitar is sighted in 200 yards dead on. But anyhow, Bill, let's do this. Can we start right now or not?
let's do this right now. Joining me now, I just got done with the radio show, and there's nothing better to end a radio show than to have a talk with Uncle Ted. Uncle Ted, how you doing, sir? Good to have you
I'm
again.
celebrating Thanksgiving every day, Bill, and I celebrate Veterans Day every day. I celebrate Independence Day every day. I celebrate Flag Day every day because I have hope for America, and we just proved that there are real Americans in Virginia and even in New Jersey, where we hired a real down-to-earth bus driver instead of the gangster mafia punks that have been ruining that part of the country. So, Bill, my spirit cup runneth over.
I was wondering what you might have been thinking when Sweeney bit the dust. I don't know why
Well,
that popped into my head, but I thought Uncle Ted would like this.
Well, there's a lot of ugliness. In fact, it's heartbreaking. It's demoralizing if you let it. The treachery that goes on in this country, the abandonment of the American culture that is manifested in the most obscene example in Kenosha, Wisconsin. But there's so many examples out there, Bill. So I just got in from a tree stand. I shot a beautiful doe tonight with the mystical flight of the arrow. But let me start by once again saying thank you for always standing up loud and proud and forceful, gentlemanly yet forceful, for truth, logic, common sense, God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, work ethic, law and order. And let me thank you and also offer prayers because I know you're in the Phoenix zone, even though we broadcast globally. In the Phoenix home grounds is a lot of heartbreak. We lost my dear blood brother Ted Spradling recently, and his son Ryan and daughter Brittany. They're still going through mourning, but Phoenix and America lost a great man. His name was Ted Spradling, and he was a powerful, positive, work ethic, God, family, country force. And everybody remember the name Ted Spradling. I'm losing too many friends this year.
Well, I don't know what to say about that, Uncle Ted. I'm not familiar with Mr. Spradlin. It doesn't surprise me though that you're still. I mean, I wouldn't even append the word spry to you. I wish I was as active as you are, and I know why you are because of that clean living you did when you were younger. Let's just probably assume that maybe I didn't.
Well, everybody likes to pursue adventure in different ways. I just never included any poison or stupid stuff. So I've been clean and sober. And I always mention it, Bill, because even at 73, I'll be 73 in a couple weeks here. But you got to admit, we've spent a lot of time together, and I'm very healthy. I had the weaponized Wuhan virus that Fauci, Pelosi, and Obama weaponized with our tax dollars. And if people think that's an outrageous statement, you're absolutely correct because it's true, and the video evidence and the forensic evidence supports every word out of my mouth. That being said, I emphasize that I've been clean and sober my whole life because as a bow hunter, which I just celebrated because getting to full draw on a white-tailed deer with a bow and arrow is one of the most impossible tasks known to man. And I so crave that because of the venison and the balancing of the herd, the resource stewardship, the conservation lifestyle. But that clean and sober choice will fortify the warrior spirit, most glaringly and belovedly displayed by a Kyle Rittenhouse. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we need to be warriors now. I don't expect everybody to grab an AR and go into a rioting, looting hell zone and neutralize evil, though I wish everyone would, and I'm prepared to do so. However, the culture war has spiraled into, yes, I'm surrounded by weapons and ammo. it's a good thing. And fire extinguishers and spare tires and guitars and bows and arrows and dogs and wives and back. My point is that you represent truth, logic, and common sense. And the most common sense today in the horror conditions of 2021 is for the conservative families of America to be as healthy as you can be. We are going to face worsening times. And if you are overweight, if you are slow, if you poison your sacred temple with less than desirable nutrition, you are not going to be the warrior that you could be. And we need all the warriors, again, not necessarily armed and on the street, though I beg everyone to be prepared for that, but intellectually and politically to pressure our mayors and our senators and our congressmen and our governors, to pressure them to stand up for God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, individual freedoms, law and order. And if we don't, Nancy Pelosi considers you her friend. And that's one of the worst self-inflicted curses that mankind can endeavor, if I do say so.
Is that like the king of unforced errors to get out there and allow that to happen?
Yeah.
Be Nancy Pelosi's friend.
What a curse. What a curse. And you listen to what the left says. Listen to the prosecutor in Kenosha. I mean, the man just is rotten to the core. That you should just bend over and accept a beating that has life-threatening forces. According to that punk gang on the prosecutor team in Kenosha, he believes in his sun-baked turd of a heart that good should not overcome evil, that good should submit to evil. Bill, that is such a spit in the face of God, where he created us in his image and likeness. And according to that prosecutor on the left and the liberals and the Democrats and this president and this vice president, we should not have good over evil. Good should back away and let evil trample us. That's all good Americans need to know. And again, if you're not fortified and healthy, you're not adequately prepared to fight that glaringly evil force. So I think that's what we're here to talk about. It's what I do in media every day.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I was interviewed, believe it or not, go figure. I was interviewed and asked, why was it okay for him to go, for Kyle Rittenhouse to go there? And I just pointed out to the interviewer that the problem was, if you've ever seen that old saying, I love the end of that movie Tears in the Sun, where they have that little saying, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Bingo. Quote, quote, ditto, ditto, ditto.
So when I get asked, would I do something? Well, I mean, that was my profession. I was in the military for 7 years. I was in the Cold War. I didn't do we didn't have a whole lot of combat, but back then we were tougher. We didn't have plate carriers or optics. We just dodged and saw. We could see for 5 miles. We didn't need all that nonsense. And when I left the military, I didn't get released from my oath. I still feel like I'm in it today. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because my most powerful battle cry in my media interviews on a daily basis and in my spirit campfire, my writings, even the lyrics of many of my songs for many years, is that the enemy can be identified here in the United States of America by the inescapable evidence repeated over and over again that this so-called commander-in-chief, the vice president, well, I could go right down the Democrat list, and horribly, most Republicans, they violate their sacred oath every day. And everybody goes, well, we got constitutional carry in Texas, Ted. Well, hang on a second. I was born with constitutional carry. Maybe you can introduce me to the man that authorizes me to implement my God-given rights. Who is this man? And I'll tell you who he is. He doesn't exist. So that oath, I take that oath. I've taken it for 39 years as a sheriff deputy in Lake County, Michigan. I spent the 246th birthday with the U.S. Marine Corps with a 96-year-old warrior that went up Iwo Jima with a flamethrower to torch the emperor's thugs. I'm in that militant circle. I've never been a military officially, but according to the men and women in the Marine Corps and the Navy SEALs and the Delta Force and the Army Rangers, and I've got, you see the badges and the coins and the shields. I've got them by the tens of thousands, Bill, and they all tell me the same. I just got some tonight. I just put it on my stack from a chief of police in Colorado somewhere. They all say the same thing. I want you to have this because you fight every day for what my buddies died for. And they died for the oath that you just articulated. Watch the Democrats. Watch this feeble, evil commander-in-chief and his evil, feeble sidekicks violate that oath by the hour. That's what's wrong with America today.
Well, I tell you this, okay, as far as service doth not make a patriot. Why you serve makes the patriot.
Yes.
You can be as patriotic and never wear the uniform, in my view. The guys that I served with, if they call me tomorrow, I drop everything and my 60-year-old self heads their way, and I'm bringing as much hell as I can pack. But to that end,
yeah, you're talking
what you
about
do.
You're talking about a family of blood brothers, and that term is an Aboriginal, Native American, Native African term, where the connection between members of the tribe, the community, the family, was solidified because at some point they're going to have to face evil and be willing to shed blood for their blood brothers. It's not just the act like in the movies where you cut your finger and you share blood. No, it's about the act of self-defense and the procurement of nutrition. When you kill game, the leaders of the tribes were the ones that got the most game and the biggest stag, therefore the hieroglyphics on cave walls celebrating the antlered beasts. But that blood brotherhood in the military, you're absolutely correct, Bill, and I think we need to emphasize this. I just did the anniversary with Delta Force. I mean, I question, how did I qualify to be invited by the Special Forces and Delta Force and the Rangers and the SEALs and the Marines and and then they all say it to me. No, you didn't wear a uniform of the military, Ted, but you wear the uniform of a we the people who we fight for you, and we watch you fight for us, because political war is just as deadly, if not, in fact, historically more deadly than hand-to-hand combat or frontline assaults. So I'm not saying that I qualify as a warrior. I think anybody who's paid attention to me for but a moment in the last 50 years proves that God made me a warrior to fight evil, to crush evil, to just swat the Pierce Morgans and the leftists and the people who try to take away our guns and attack hunting rights and attack the First Amendment or the Second Amendment. But I'm fortified every day by guys like you in the military who did put your nuts on the anvil when the enemy had the sledgehammers, and you weren't afraid to do that. You just took the sledgehammers away and hit them in the head with it.
Well, I'll tell you the other part too. The being a warrior is a multi-level thing. It's like playing chess with Spock. There are leaders, and there are a leader is someone who inspires someone. A leader is somebody who looks at a troop and says, "We're going to go do something, and this is going to be bad." And the troop looks at the leader because he's so inspired by the leader, and he says to the colonel or to the sergeant or to the lieutenant, "I'm going with you to hell, sir." And then you go and you do that mission. And
I know those guys.
that kind of dedication, that's what you have brought to the game, especially in the show business world. You stand out from 99.99% of all of them, just with the consistency.
Right, yeah. Pretty obvious, yeah.
just with
I'm
the
not afraid.
consistency.
I'm not afraid to make waves. In fact, I'm a big fan of tsunamis against the left.
Well, let's talk about one thing that you did that, like I said, you came out with this song. You got a new album coming out.
Killer music, man. I mean, what my band, Greg Smith, Jason Hartless, I'm the luckiest guitar player that ever unleashed an A10 Warthog Gibson guitar. I mean, my guys, Jason and Greg, when we got in the barn swamp of Michigan and I started showing them these new songs I had unleashed, I don't write songs. I pick up the guitar and grinds, grooves, fire and lyrics coincide with the guitar patterns. It's a has a life unto itself. It's out of body. It's as samurai and beyond as a musical force can get. And I'm not necessarily bragging, as celebrating that since I was a little boy, I picked up the guitar and my hands found patterns, variations like bastardized honky tonk and a bastardized boogie woogie, maybe a bad note and an upside down phrase, and those patterns bring out lyrics. Can't scratch fever, and da. I didn't think about that. Too many minds will make you play country music and then nobody dances. Anyhow, so yes, we have a new record called Ted Nugent Detroit Muscle. And the first song, like most of my best compositions, is a love song to the government. Is the title of the love song to the government or anybody that dares to mess with us. Come and take it. Go ahead and try. Go ahead and die. Welcome back to the Concord Bridge. Bill, if that's not a love song, I don't know what is.
And I saw that you had characterized that as a love song. I thought about that for a minute, and yeah, I think it is. I think it is the utmost of compassion to point out to someone, hey, look, if you don't want none, don't start none, okay? But if you do, understand who's going to finish it.
Well, there's an American DNA that is most celebratory from Concord Bridge, and where I've come up with some really poignant, profound quotes in my life because again I'm stream of conscious. Being clean and sober, syllables tend to form visions and images. And so I doing an interview the other day, and I was talking about killing deer, and the guy was, I'm not a fan of violence. I go, how can you call balancing the herd and providing the purest nutrition venison for your family and soup kitchens? Stop me when I get to the violent part. What are you talking about? He goes, well, you're all about guns and hunting and killing stuff. And I go, well, let me try to educate you a little bit. Maybe you haven't been paying attention, but try this on for size. You Pearl Harbor me, I Nagasaki you. Stop me when I get to the confusing part. We were attacked by an evil force, and we had to blow them to living kingdom come. Or maybe I could reference Old Yeller for you. You tell me you've seen the movie Old Yeller, or at least you grasp the concept. Good dog biscuit, rabid dog bullet. What do you mean? Violence is the answer. Someone's raping my daughter, I'm cutting him in half. I mean, yeah, violence is how America got out of the stranglehold from King George and the other punk tyrants and dictators and pre-Joe Bidens of the world. So, yeah, violence is the answer. If you want peace, you only get it through superior firepower. That is not opinion. That is a historical truism.
That the interesting thing. I'm going to show you something. This is a gun built by a guy named Joe Chambers, and
45.
9. It's a 9mm.
Nine's good,
but it holds 20 rounds, so that's a whole lot of chitty bang bang going on there.
Big fan of firepower. My average day consists of at least this.
Your Glock 20.
That's just if I'm going to the store for milk and bread. And then in the trunk of my Hellcat is enough artillery to turn it into a fighter jet. I promise you.
On the side of this is my name in German, Frede, Vrede. The literal translation of that means peace that is brought about by war.
That's the only peace. Nobody's ever negotiated peace without the evildoers being neutralized.
Yep.
You Pearl Harbor me, I Nagasaki you. The best recommendation is don't Pearl Harbor me, because I will Nagasaki you.
Come and Take It. I like that song. I haven't listened to the whole album yet because I have listened to Come and Take It until the opening riff is typical of you, sir. So I you know.
Well, Bill, you may play that anywhere, anytime you want. We're so proud of it. Again, I give the credit to Jason Hartless on drums and Greg Smith, my bass guitarist, and Michael Lutz, the original author of Smoking in the Boys' Room by Brownsville Station, and
Right.
Tim and Andy Pallet. I tell you, I've got a gang of musical maniacs that live and breathe everything James Brown and Motown and Wilson Pickett and Chuck Berry and Little Richard. These guys, they pivot on that defiance, that middle finger on fire that those black artists perfected with their work ethic and their musical grinding vision. And we still live that to this day. And here it is, Craziness 2021. And everybody who's heard Ted Nugent, Detroit Muscle, thinks it's some of the best stuff I've ever done, and I'm convinced it is. I'm very, very proud of it.
Well, with the Zoom call, you can't minimize it, or I'd play it right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to say right here, and I'm going to cut that in the middle of this video, and I'll put some other stuff in, some other Uncle Ted stuff in there with it to go on top of the song and everything else. And we will say right here is where the song has ended, and we're back talking with Ted Nugent again. The new album is called Motor City Detroit Muscle.
Detroit Muscle. I
Detroit
drive it
Muscle.
every day.
With the first cut, a love song called "Come and Take It."
Well, the lyrics are, "Don't you even try it. Don't you do. Go ahead and try it. Don't you tread on me. You can do or die in the land of the free." The second verse goes, "No more kings, no tyrants, no more jackboot thugs. We will unleash violence for the freedom that we love. Come and take it. I dare you." It's a love song. You feel the love, don't you?
I feel the love. It's a love song.
I love freedom. I love
civics
freedom. I
lesson.
love life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And the best recommendation is don't Pearl Harbor me, because I've got a Nagasaki for you on standby.
The equal but opposite reaction is coming. I'm watching the world as it is, and I see it. I see what's going on. I hope the snowflakes will listen to us, simply because when we're gone, it's going to be on them.
Well, again, we could cry tears of blood with the condition of America right now. Again, the manifestation of cultural abandonment in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Your mind is stretched to the limit, trying to find logic how people can think or talk like that prosecuting team, or the way the Democrats bail out and encourage and engineer the recidivism of the most evil, violent murderers, rapists, child molesters, arsonists and looters, and entire cityscape destroyers. The Democrat Party represents those heathens. So it could be very painful, and I do a Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire often, and I communicate with people both technologically and on the not so mean streets of America, at the restaurants and the hardware store and the feed mill. I'm a gregarious guy, and people are hurting, people are scared, but I bring positive energy and spirit, and I do it thusly. Virginia, when apathetic Americans see the results of their apathy, because the Marxists didn't win, the conservatives bent over. When you don't vote, when you don't pressure your mayor and your senator and your congressman and your governor, the lefts are on it all the time, because they are driven by such evil forces that they take advantage of people sleeping. The apathy in America is far worse than Marxism or looters or rioters. So we woke them up with HunterNation.org. Everybody should visit hunternation.org. It sounds like a hunting organization. It's not. But at hunternation.org, we bought the list of all licensed hunters in America because they ultimately represent conservatives. They have a work ethic. You have to have a work ethic to afford all that ammo and all that hunting and all the guns and all the supplies that you need to go. There are people in the asset column, conservatives. And we found out, much to my heartbreak, that in some states, most states, Bill, we have the list of every licensed hunter in America. In most states, less than 50% have ever registered and voted. Shame on them. So I scolded them in 2016. They responded, and you saw what we did in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. We galvanized boots on the ground in Virginia and elsewhere. And if people who believe in God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, independence, work ethic, law and order, I know the vast majority of Americans do. The lunatic fringe loots and riots and kills and maims and molests. But I know that the conservative families of this country outnumber the devils. But if you're not voting, the devils smile at your support, because there is no such thing as neutrality in politics. Neutrality is support for the enemy. So I beg people, go to hunternation.org. We have boots on the ground in all 50 states, and we're getting that army, and it really is an army. I mean, the best armed, rifle-toting, largest army in the world is licensed hunters in America. Case closed. But they need to vote. So more powerful than your 30-06 or your 7 mag or your 270 is your vote and your voice to your elected employees. hunternation.org. We're making a difference, and we're going to win this country back.
Well, I've been trying this out to see, and if you want to spread this, you don't have to give me credit for it. But being an American is no longer a spectator sport.
Oh my God! No, I think I might have said that, Bill, in 1969.
Well, then maybe that's where I got it from. Maybe I need to give you credit for it. But yeah, you got to get out there. You got to be an activist. You can't join an organization and let that be your proxy. You got to join the organization. You got to go vote. You got to be all up in the business of the people that you hired, and make sure that they understand that that which we give you, we will take away. You don't have to get all
I communicate with the shit kickers on the not so mean streets of this country, great families. I've shared already 20-some campfires with just great families. And they're all in the asset column. They all work hard. They're entrepreneurs. They're men and women in the arena and the swirling dust of the American life, liberty, pursuit of happiness dream. And we're galvanizing them, and in many instances scolding them to vote. And they all say, well, what can we do? What can we do? Call your mayor once a week. Tell them that defunding the police is the act of a maniac. You know who wants to defund the police? Rapists, carjackers, and home invaders. Tell me you're not on their side, Mr. Mayor. Your senator, your congressman, your governor. Well, I can't get through to my governor. Leave a message, take the person's name and the time and day you called them, and let the person know you're calling back next week to ask them how they're doing on your direction. The evil forces in this America are running amok because they're not afraid of we the people. Elected employees should have an element of fear of we the people. That we are watching them, we are monitoring them. We're going back to another point you brought up, Bill. We're making sure they live up to their oath to the Constitution, because when they sway, we are going to fire you. And they're not afraid of being fired because of the apathy and the disconnect. So you're absolutely right. Maybe Germany is a spectator sport. Maybe over in Sweden you can be a spectator. But an experiment in self-government is a sacred duty, and it demands participation. Case closed. If you want to win back America, join the NRA, Gun Owners of America. Join United States Concealed Carry Association. Call your mayor, your senator, your congressman, your governor, and make sure that you go to hunternation.org so that your elected employees go, hey, they're paying attention. We better not say that anymore. They're not afraid of us. They should be afraid of us.
One thing I want to point out, and I don't think a lot of people don't look at this and see it the way I see it. When I look at your patch board back there, that tells me you've been out there. You've been out there where these people are. You've been out there where LEO is. You've been out there where the fire departments are. You've been out there in the municipalities. Some nice, some not so nice.
Yep.
And that is more than any politician does.
Well, yeah, because we've let them get away without meeting with us. Let me tell you this. It's Thanksgiving every day at the Nugent House. I want to promote this because people have been asking about it. You can get this flag at tednugent.com. We're having a stupid sale all through the holidays. They're all personally autographed. I'm going to send you one, Bill. Did I send you one yet?
You haven't sent me one yet, Ted.
Well, I better get going here. But anyhow, you can get the Come and Take It flag at tednugent.com. And here's my two favorite, and I can't sign them fast enough, but I do anyway. You can get I Will Not Comply. If you give me an illegal, immoral, anti-constitutional order, I will arrest you. Not only will I not comply, I will take you into custody. I will not comply and come and take it. I autograph them by the thousands, which is why my rhythm guitar parts are not able to be duplicated.
You don't have that carpal tunnel syndrome thing happening to you, do you?
So if you want these, you go to tednugent.com, and we're having a big sale, and I'd appreciate people if they would do that. But what we do is we communicate. We raise hell. The founding fathers wanted everybody to be just like you and just like me, to be suspicious of everything that comes from the government. And in the failure to be suspicious of everything from the government, I give you Fauci. I give you the weaponized Wuhan virus. I give you the scam artists with their masks and their experimental jabs. I got to tell you, this is a treacherous time, but if we re-engage, we can fix it post-haste. And again, I'm going to reference Virginia. We tipped them upside down, Bill. In New Jersey, we got a damn truck driver to take the place of the mob boss. So it can be done. We're fighting for Michigan. We're holding our ground in Texas. We got a great attorney general in Nevada and Arizona. I think we're on our way, but people have to engage. HunterNation.org. You want to do something to fix America? HunterNation.org.
I'm going to be getting with Linda and get me one of those flags. And my head is big enough to where I can wear both ball caps at one time, I think.
We can do it.
Yep. So anyway, are you going to SHOT Show?
You know, I don't think so. That time of year is still a campfire era.
That's right. I forgot that you have the year is comprised of different seasons for you. There's the hunt, there's the road, and then there's the spending some time with some people. So right. In any event, thank you for taking the time and joining me today. HunterNation.org. I'm getting hats. I'm getting a flag. Join me in that, because this is a gentleman here, Uncle Ted. His hell raises just as high today as when he was a much younger man.
Yes, even more. I'm getting better at it. I'm more efficient. Economy of physics of spirituality is my battle cry. Well, Bill, again, a big salute to you and all my friends in Arizona. Let me give you one more. There's a great charity, because our commander-in-chief is such a traitor, is such an America-hating punk, that he is orchestrating the invasion of America. Why he hasn't been arrested and tried for treason yet, I cannot imagine. But in the meantime, since he is importing deadly drugs like fentanyl across our borders on purpose, there is a gang of young people in America, great, great young people, that have started a charity to save America youth from the scourge of the government's importation of fentanyl and other deadly drugs. It's called FullCircleProgram.com. Right there in Arizona, FullCircleProgram.com. circleprogram.com. Young Americans that were sick and tired of their friends and their peers dying and getting deathly ill from the government-imported chemical warfare. FullCircleProgram.com. Great young people doing God's work.
Outstanding. Do you realize that was 30 minutes? That went by just like that.
Shemaine has got stuffed. We just did a segment for Ted Nugent's Spirit of the Wild where Shemaine sauteed garlic and olive oil with butter with some diced white and red onions and a bunch of diced mushrooms. She let them simmer up and giggle and google in the pan. She let it cool. She opened up a backstrap that she shot with her bow and arrow last week. We aged it in the cooler. She split the backstrap open. After that concoction cooled off, she stuffed that backstrap with spinach and some asparagus shrapnel, and she closed it back. She put a big slug of butter in there too. She closed it back up and she tied it up and she singed it on both sides in hot gurgling oil. Then she put it in the oven. So Bill, I love you a lot, but you don't even hold a prayer to Shemaine with a stuffed backstrap in my kitchen in high heels. So I gotta go.
As Clint Eastwood said, man's got to know his limitations.
Dirty Harry, 1970.
There you go, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bill, carry on. God bless America. God bless the military and law enforcement and their families as long as they live up to their oath.
As long
your boss at the at the sheriff department or the city police or the state troopers or any agency, if your commander gives you an illegal oath that forces you to violate your oath, arrest him. He's the criminal. Military guys, if some punk like Millie gives you an illegal oath violating immoral command, arrest the punk. You have an obligation to defy immoral commands that force you to violate your sacred oath of the Constitution. That's a little self-evident truth from the guitar player. God bless America.
I leave you to go take care of your shrapnel. Ted Nugent. We'll be right back. This is Lock and Load.